You're probably used to this comforting illusion of permanence when you think about running a business.
Oh, absolutely. The physical stuff feels very secure.
Right. You sign a physical lease, you buy your commercial ovens or your delivery
They
vehicle.
seem doors.
Exactly. And as long as you keep making great food or, providing a stellar service, you feel like you're in control. The ground beneath your feet feels solid.
But then you step into the digital side of things.
Yeah, you step into digital infrastructure and suddenly you realize you might have built your entire digital storefront on rented land.
Which is a terrifying realization.
It really is. And today, June 23, 2026,
Yeah.
for thousands of delivery and restaurant businesses around the world, the landlord basically just announced they're bulldozing the entire property.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh.
We're looking at a literal ticking clock echoing across the global food delivery industry right now.
Welcome to today's deep dive. We're unpacking this really detailed industry breakdown that's making the rounds right now.
It's titled, Why Enatega is the Best Gloria Food Alternative in 2026-2027.
Right. And our mission today is to explore this massive digital exodus. I mean, we're looking at the forced migration of thousands of restaurants from a dying platform, GloriaFood.
It really feels like watching a massive forced migration happen in real time.
Oh, for sure.
The pressure cooker these business owners are in right now is just intense. Because moving your entire digital revenue stream isn't like, I don't know, changing the brand of napkins you use.
Right. It's structural. We're analyzing this radical shift in how businesses are being forced to treat their tech, moving from perpetually, renting your software to actually owning it.
And that shift from renting to owning, it represents a fundamental psychological and operational pivot. Business owners are being forced to confront vulnerabilities they didn't even know they had.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this right now, whether you're running a business yourself or maybe you're prepping for a big tech strategy meeting.
Or just fascinated by how these ecosystems evolve.
Exactly. Or how they collapse entirely. This deep dive is going to reveal how hidden software limitations can secretly choke your growth.
And more importantly, how taking ultimate ownership of that code can instantly reverse the damage.
So let's start with the immediate crisis driving all of this. We have the confirmed death of a major platform.
GloriaFood.
Right. GloriaFood is officially shutting down by March 2027. New signups are already disabled. They've essentially locked the doors from the outside.
The timeline is absolute.
Yeah.
March 2027 is the hard stop.
Which isn't that far away.
No, not at all. And what we're seeing in the source material is that the early movers haven't even waited for that deadline. They started migrating much earlier this year, in 2026.
To avoid complete disaster, obviously.
Exactly. I mean, waiting until the final few months to migrate a system that handles all your customer orders, your payments, your routing.
That's just an unacceptable level of risk.
Totally unacceptable.
Let's look at GloriaFood's initial appeal, though, because we really have to understand why so many businesses are trapped in this situation to begin with.
Oh, it was incredibly popular for a very good reason.
Right. It was fantastic for getting small restaurants online quickly. You got this very basic browser-based ordering page.
You could literally slap your menu on the internet and start taking orders in hours.
It felt like a lifeline, especially for small independent joints who didn't have a massive tech budget. I like to think of it like renting a fully furnished starter apartment.
That analogy holds up perfectly when you look at the life cycle of these businesses. When a restaurant first opens, capital is tight.
And time is even tighter. So when you're young and single or your business is just a concept, a fully furnished studio is amazing.
You just show up with your suitcase.
Exactly. Your setup costs are effectively zero. But as your family grows or as your delivery business scales from, 20 orders a night to 200.
You suddenly realize the walls are closing in.
Yeah. You want to expand the kitchen, but you can't knock down any walls because you don't own the place. You're subject to the landlord's rules.
And on top of that, the landlord keeps taking a bigger cut of your paycheck the more money you make.
Which brings up a big question. Was GloriaFood ever really meant for scale? Or was it just a digital Band-Aid that these businesses inevitably outgrew?
If we connect this to the bigger picture of food delivery technology, it becomes clear that GloriaFood was very much a product of its time.
Meaning it had a very specific, limited purpose.
Exactly. It was designed to do exactly one thing: get a localized business onto the internet fast.
Mm-hmm.
The 2027 shutdown didn't actually create the core problem for these businesses.
You just exposed it.
Right. It made the underlying rot impossible to ignore. Because operating in 2026, the structural limitations of that starter apartment aren't just inconvenient, they're actively fatal to a growing business.
Fatal how, though? Like, what are the specific walls they keep hitting that stall their growth?
Well, the most glaring wall is the lack of a fully branded native mobile app. GloriaFood relies heavily on a browser-based page.
Oh, right, like a mobile website.
Yeah. And in 2026, lacking a dedicated iOS or Android app sitting on your customer's phone is a massive customer retention problem.
The industry data is pretty overwhelming here, isn't it?
It really is. Customers reorder significantly more often from a dedicated app on their home screen than they do if they're forced to open a mobile browser.
Let alone search for the restaurant's name, navigate some clunky web interface, and log in all over again.
Exactly. Without that native app, you're bleeding repeat business every single day.
Because it's all about reducing friction. An app on the home screen is like having a direct line to your customer's pocket.
Yep. If they have a home for your website, they get distracted.
They open their phone, they see the Uber Eats or DoorDash icon sitting right there, and they just tap that instead out of pure convenience.
And you lose the sale to a mega aggregator simply because you weren't one tap away.
Which is brutal.
Yeah.
And that friction just multiplies when you look at the back-end logistics.
Oh, absolutely. The second major wall these businesses hit is the complete lack of built-in delivery management.
Right. The sources note that GloriaFood doesn't offer a native rider app at all.
There's no built-in GPS tracking for the drivers, and there's no intelligent dispatch system to route multiple orders efficiently.
Wait, if there's no native rider app and no GPS, that means they're doing all this coordination manually.
Yes, completely manual.
That's insane. On a busy Friday night, these owners must be literally calling drivers on their cell phones, shouting over the noise of a busy kitchen.
While staring at a whiteboard trying to guess where their delivery guys are.
That's a recipe for total operational collapse once you pass a certain volume.
Manual coordination is exactly what's happening. They rely on phone calls, fragmented third-party integrations that don't even talk to the ordering system.
Just pure guesswork.
Right. As soon as a restaurant scales its order volume, trying to manually dispatch drivers without a native digital system creates completely avoidable chaos.
Food gets cold, customers get angry, and the restaurant eats the cost of the refund.
And then you add the recurring fees to that chaos. We're talking about commission pressures that actively punish you for being successful.
Right. The more orders you process, the more you pay the platform. Plus, the system is limited entirely to food delivery, which really boxes you in.
It does.
So if the core issue here is that renting a restrictive platform punishes your ability to scale, then the only way to survive a platform deaf like GloriaFood isn't to go find a new landlord.
No, not at all.
You have to buy the real estate.
Which is exactly where the conversation shifts toward permanent infrastructure and where the sources introduce Enatega.
Let's bring Enatega into the spotlight then. This is a platform founded back in 2019.
Yeah, and according to the breakdown, they already have over 200 global deployments.
Their core philosophy is plastered everywhere in the material. It says, stop renting delivery software. Own your platform in 5 days.
And that philosophy completely flips the traditional software-as-a-service business model on its head.
It really does. We're so conditioned to that SaaS model, right?
Yeah.
Paying a monthly subscription for everything from our email to our CRM.
So the concept of a one-time purchase for enterprise-grade software almost sounds entirely foreign at this point.
Okay, let's unpack this
Yeah.
because the details are pretty wild. They're offering a one-time payment model. You pay once and you get complete source code ownership forever.
Zero ongoing commissions. Zero monthly platform fees.
And you get full white label branding, meaning the customer-facing apps are published under your business's own name on the App Store and Google Play.
Plus, you self-host your own data.
The sources even brag about their developer transparency. They note their open source front-end components have over 1,200 GitHub stars.
That's a huge metric in the dev world.
But I have to push back here. Wait, full source code, managing your own servers. That sounds completely terrifying for a mom-and-pop restaurant owner who just wants to sell a great cheeseburger.
It does sound intimidating at first.
Right. Are they supposed to suddenly become software engineers?
No, not at all. And this raises a critical point about what ownership actually means in a modern digital context.
Okay, clarify that for me.
When Enatega talks about giving you the source code, they aren't handing you a pile of raw materials and telling you to build the house yourself.
Good, because I wouldn't know where to start.
You're buying fully constructed, permanent digital infrastructure. Think of the open source aspect like a restaurant recipe.
Okay, I like that analogy.
With a closed system like GloriaFood, they cook the food behind closed doors in a black box. If their restaurant closes, you starve.
Right.
With open source, Enatega gives you the exact fully tested recipe.
Oh, I love that. So even if Enatega as a company went completely out of business tomorrow, I still have the recipe.
Exactly.
I can hand that code to literally any freelance developer in the world to keep my app running. I'm not held hostage by their corporate survival.
Precisely the point. You gain total immunity. You're immune from arbitrary third-party price hikes, sudden changes to their terms of service.
And most importantly, immune from platform dependency.
Yes. Your app, your customer data, and your delivery routing live on your own servers.
And those 1,200 GitHub stars aren't just some vanity metric either.
Not at all. That number proves the code is trusted, transparent, and actively scrutinized by a massive global developer community.
It's a battle-tested engine, not some proprietary secret you're just blindly trusting.
Right.
I really want to dig into the economics of this, though. We touched on the commission trap earlier, but I think you really need to realize how insidious this is.
The percentage-based commission model is essentially a tax on your own success.
Exactly. If you run an incredible local marketing campaign and you manage to double your orders for the month, your software costs shouldn't magically double.
No, because the servers didn't work twice as hard to process those extra orders.
Right. The underlying computing cost of processing an order is fractions of a cent.
So you're effectively subsidizing the platform's Silicon Valley overhead with your local hustle.
That is so frustrating. But when you switch to owning the code and self-hosting, your server costs remain relatively flat, whether you do 100 orders a week or 1,000.
And the profit from that growth actually stays in your pocket.
Which is where it belongs.
But connecting this to the day-to-day reality, we have to look at how owning this underlying code actually translates into operational power on the ground.
Right, because theoretical ownership is great, but what happens when the dinner rush hits? Let's talk about that. Having your name on the deed doesn't automatically mean the kitchen runs smoothly.
That's where Enatega's built-in logistics take over. Because you own the full suite, you aren't just getting a storefront ordering page.
You're getting the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. The system includes a dedicated rider app equipped with real-time GPS tracking, automated order assignment algorithms, and route optimization.
And all of that complex logistics architecture is built natively into the same exact system the customer is using to place the order. So it completely eliminates the whiteboard. The system inherently knows where the driver is, knows when the kitchen will finish the food, and automatically pings the closest driver.
No fragmented third-party software, no frantic phone calls. It creates a seamless loop.
That is huge for operations.
But the operational power goes far beyond just routing drivers. It natively supports multi-location and multi-vendor scaling.
Which GloriaFood struggled with, right?
Yeah, the sources point out that with GloriaFood, if you had 5 different pizza shop locations, you essentially had to log into 5 separate accounts to manage them.
Which is an administrative nightmare if you're trying to update a menu price across the board. Or even just track your total weekly revenue.
Enatega solves this with a centralized dashboard.
Yeah.
This is absolutely critical for franchises or the newer cloud kitchen models.
You manage all your branches, your dynamic delivery zones, and your overarching analytics from one single screen.
It replaces multiple fragmented Band-Aids with a unified command center.
And that concept of the command center leads right into the super app capability, which is where this breakdown completely blew my mind.
Oh, the super app feature is fascinating.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The sources highlight that Enatega supports over 33 distinct verticals. We're not just talking about food delivery anymore.
No, it goes way beyond that.
The platform supports grocery delivery, pharmacy drops, laundry pickup, courier services, beauty services, and even ride-sharing.
All from the same core code.
But I have to ask, if a local entrepreneur is running a successful local burger joint, isn't a 33 vertical super app massive overkill?
It definitely sounds like it at first glance.
Right. Like, why would a burger place care about having the digital architecture to launch a laundry service?
What's fascinating here is that it fundamentally comes down to capacity versus restriction. It requires a total reframe of how you think about digital real estate.
Okay, how so?
Well, you're completely right. A single burger shop might not launch a ride-sharing service tomorrow. But remember, GloriaFood's food-only model.
Yeah, you could only sell food.
That was a structural restriction. The software dictated what your business was allowed to be. Enatega's architecture is about eliminating those artificial ceilings.
Ah, I get it. So instead of a digital Swiss Army knife, which is a bit cliche, it's more like owning an entire digital shopping mall.
That's a brilliant way to visualize it.
Right now, you might only have your burger shop open in one of the units, but you already own the plumbing, the electrical, and the foundation to open a grocery store or a pharmacy in the empty units next door whenever you decide you want to expand.
Because the infrastructure is already paid for. Imagine an entrepreneur running a modern cloud kitchen.
Okay.
With a restricted platform, they might only be able to sell under one single brand identity. With Enatega's multi-vertical capacity, that same entrepreneur can run a gourmet burger brand, a separate vegan brand, and a late-night convenience store brand out of the exact same physical kitchen.
Managed from the exact same dashboard and delivered by the same fleet of drivers. That is incredibly efficient.
Or they could think even bigger.
That much bigger.
Someone could use this platform to build a fully localized Uber Eats-style marketplace specifically for their city.
Oh, wow. So they could bring together local independent restaurants, local grocers, and local pharmacies into one unified super app.
Exactly, without having to raise millions of dollars in venture capital just to build the tech from scratch.
The barrier to entry for building a regional monopoly has practically vanished.
It really has.
Okay, but we have to look at the reality check here. We have these incredible theoretical features, the promise of escaping the commission tax, and the dream of being a local tech mogul with your own super app.
But that requires hard physical proof.
Exactly. How difficult is this migration, really? The marketing claim that immediately stood out to me is go live in 5 days.
Yeah, that sounds fast.
If you're taking over full source code, launching customized iOS and Android apps to the App Store, and configuring private servers, how is 5 days mechanically possible? It sounds a bit like marketing spin.
It absolutely sounds impossible if you assume the business owner is the one sitting down and doing the technical labor.
Which they aren't, I assume.
Right. The breakdown outlines a very specific 4-step migration process that details the mechanism behind this speed. The secret isn't that they're writing code at light speed.
Then what is it?
It's how the deployment is handled.
Walk me through how they actually pull that off.
Step 1 is a deep dive consultation to define the exact setup, branding, and launch plan across whichever of those 33 verticals the business wants to activate.
Okay, planning phase. Makes sense.
Step 2 is the transaction, the one-time payment where the business legally receives the source code.
Right.
But step 3 is where the magic happens. The Enatega deployment team takes over entirely.
Wait, so the owner isn't touching the code at all?
Not at all. The deployment team handles the heavy lifting. They do the complex server setup, the back-end database configuration, the payment gateway integrations, and the quality assurance testing.
Wow, okay.
What's crucial to understand is that they aren't building a custom app from scratch. They're taking that pre-built, battle-tested engine we talked about earlier and draping your custom branding, your colors, and your menus over it.
Oh, I see. The engine is fully built. They're just giving it a custom paint job and dropping it into your garage.
Exactly. The business owner gets all the long-term financial benefits of open-source ownership without bearing the immediate technical burden of acting as an in-house developer.
That makes a lot more sense. And then what's step 4?
Step 4 is pushing the final product live under your own brand on the App Store and Google Play.
And the 5-day timeline.
The timelines in the sources state that streamlined light deployments can literally go live in 5 business days, while full App Store deployments, which require Apple and Google's approval processes, might take 2 to 3 weeks.
Which, in the software world, is still breathtakingly fast for native mobile apps.
Extremely fast.
And we actually have real-world case studies in the source material to back this up. These aren't just theoretical timelines or hypothetical savings.
No, the numbers are very real.
Let's look at Yalla Delivery. The founder, Rami Abu Rish, hit 60,000 active users in their first year.
That's a massive user base.
And he's quoted saying they recovered their entire initial investment in just 2 months. 2 months.
All because of the zero commissions.
Exactly. He pointed out that since the source code is entirely theirs, nobody can arbitrarily raise prices on them as they grow.
Then there's Danny, the founder of UN2X3 Delivery. His app was live on the App Store in under 7 days.
And he explicitly noted that he didn't need to write a single line of code himself.
Which perfectly validates the reality of Step 3, the deployment team executing the technical rollout while the owner focuses on business strategy.
And then you look at the sheer scale of something like the Lumi Super AI app.
Right, over in Qatar.
Yeah, they built Qatar's first AI-powered super app. They combined food delivery, grocery, and home services into one unified brand.
And they were able to deploy that level of complexity without having to start from zero.
But Honestly, the numbers for Borku Delivery are the ones that really stop me in my tracks.
Oh, the savings.
They reportedly saved over 100,000 US dollars in commissions in their first year alone, simply by switching off a percentage-based SaaS platform.
$100,000.
That stays in the local business instead of being siphoned off to a landlord.
When you look at the restaurant and local delivery industry, where profit margins are famously razor thin, $100,000 isn't just a nice year-end bonus.
No, it's game-changing.
It's the difference between surviving a brutal economic quarter and filing for bankruptcy. It's the capital needed to open a second physical location.
Or the budget to hire better staff, upgrade your kitchen equipment, or just blanket your city in local marketing.
Exactly. When you're trapped in a rental model, your own growth literally subsidizes the platform's wealth.
Right.
But when you own the digital infrastructure, your growth funds your own expansion.
That is such a profound shift in perspective,
Right.
and it really brings us full circle on this entire journey today.
It really does.
We started by looking at the imminent death of GloriaFood, a platform that was incredibly useful for getting a business online quickly, but ultimately functioned like a restrictive, expensive rental agreement.
And the 2027 shutdown is forcing the hand of thousands of businesses.
It's causing a lot of genuine panic right now. But based on everything we've unpacked today, this crisis is ultimately pushing the industry out of a limiting rental model and into a vastly superior era.
An era defined by permanent digital ownership, zero ongoing commission taxes, and massive operational scalability. It puts the control back in the hands of the local entrepreneur.
So as we wrap up today's deep dive, I want you to look at your own life, your own career, or your own business.
What are you renting?
Exactly. What essential tools, what software platforms, or even what physical assets are you endlessly renting right now?
Where are the recurring fees actively punishing your own growth?
And where do you own absolutely none of the underlying equity? Because as we're seeing in the delivery world today, sometimes the absolute best thing a landlord can do for you is kick you out, forcing you to finally buy the house.
That leaves us with an incredibly provocative question to consider regarding the future of the internet itself.
Oh, what's that?
Well, we've seen how this open source technology unlocks a super app capability for literally anyone.
Right.
If platforms like Enatega allow any local entrepreneur to instantly deploy a fully owned, multi-vertical super app with built-in real-time logistics, are the giant, centralized tech monopolies of the delivery world destined to become obsolete?
Wow.
Could we be watching the slow replacement of global tech giants by a massive, decentralized web of independent, locally owned digital platforms?
That is a fascinating thought to chew on. The giant landlord might just be replaced by a million independent, highly efficient homeowners.
We'll have to see.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the tools you use, keep looking at who owns the underlying architecture of your business, and we'll see you next time.